Hello Leo, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this video, this reading was meant to find you. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we begin with the Queen of Wands, very charismatic. I feel like you're somebody who is you're really feeling yourself right now. Like I feel like you're in such a confident, radiant kind of energy. Like there really is this like warmth and magnetism that you have. Like I feel like when you walk into the room, like everybody turns and looks. Like you own the room when you walk into it. And you're not always feeling that way. You know, you have your days where you're just kind of feeling down or feeling low, or where your light isn't shining as bright. But I feel like right now you're stepping into this like really intense period of time where your confidence has truly, truly been rising. Okay? And maybe you've been feeling more expressive lately. Just wanting to sort of sing and dance and speak and draw and paint and create. You know, I think that you have a very courageous heart right now. And I feel that you want to be outside, you want to be doing things. I feel like you're offering a lot of encouragement to other people. Like you really feel like a very pleasant person to be around, you know. I feel like you're choosing like your outfits, you're choosing your words, and you're choosing even like your actions, your behaviors in a way that really reflect like that inner radiance. Yeah. And most of all, you're not chasing anything. Your magnetism is drawing the right people and places and things and opportunities to you. Okay. So let's put this into some context. Let's see what you are attracting to you. There's the Four of Swords. There's a Prince of Wands. Wow. You got your superpower card here today too. The Prince of Wands represents the Leo energy in action. We've got a 10 of Wands, we have a Queen of Cups, and we have an Ace of Cups. I feel like there is this sort of transition into receiving mode, okay? So I feel like you were very ambitious, and you did not chase things, but you really like exerted a lot of effort. And I think now you're just letting the good things come into you. You're letting the good things arrive for you. Okay, here's the Three of Wands. There's that Sun card. We have the Eon or Judgment card, but we have a Princess of Cups. So we're kind of like, we're getting all this fire, but then we get like these water cards too that are just kind of saying like, no, let's slow down. Let's enjoy life. Let's receive, you know. And maybe that you've been giving your energy out a lot. And now it's time for you to receive some of that. You know, it's like, I think that you're kind of protecting your energy right now from people that only take, and never give anything back, right? So I think now it's kind of like you realize that you deserve the good stuff. You've earned it. You've put in the work. You've paid your dues. You've suffered. You've struggled enough. And really, the 10 of Wands, you've burned yourself out with hard work and struggle and striving. And I think that you're realizing your self-worth. You're realizing your value. You're realizing what you deserve in life. And you're letting it come in. You're letting it arrive for you. And there's no guilt or shame about that. That's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So We're going to select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with our little sea turtle friend right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments right below the video. Now as we look around the room here, two majors, the Sun and the Judgment card. Okay, and the Judgment card here is it's kind of in the position of our fear, worry, concern. Okay, and I don't think that this is necessarily like necessarily a fear. I think what it's really symbolizing is like there's a reluctance for you to kind of stop being the one that does everything. You know, it's not easy for you to relax. It's not easy for you to just sit back and let somebody bring something to you. That you're the one that gets up and goes and does it, you know. And I think right now, Spirit's trying to tell you, or your guides are trying to tell you, like, it's time for you to receive. You deserve to be taken care of. You deserve love. You deserve to have desires and to fulfill those desires, to satisfy those desires. Okay? And, well, I think that's kind of, you know, that's part of this radiant sun. And part of that sun, right, that solar energy is you just radiating your light, your heat, your love, radiating your life force out to the world, like very generously. You know, the sun is just up there in the sky somewhere, shining its light. And we're all down here just taking it. And we feel like, the sun will be there forever, you know. So in other words, I think that you've kind of been taken for granted a little bit in your life. Yeah, the way we might take the sun for granted. But I think that you're making the decision in a way to treat yourself, to love yourself, to care for yourself, and to let yourself want things, need things, desire things, and realizing that that's okay, you know. So anyway, we've got our two majors. We've got fire, 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 water, 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 and a little bit of air. Okay, so it really is this kind of almost a battle between the fire and the air. Not a battle, but I think, or the water. Not a battle necessarily, but the realization in the mind that we need balance. It's not a war between the fire and the water. It is us trying to find a way to have things more sustainable. Balance the fire and the water in a way that you're gonna keep going, you know? That so that we can continue to be the sun out there forever. I feel like you're the one that takes care of everybody. You're the one that is giving everybody around you the light, the life, the love, you know, the heat, the radiance that is your life force. In order for you to continue doing that, we've got to equalize. Something needs balance, right? The sun needs equilibrium. Because if there's too much, if we're burning our fuel too quickly, then we're going to, go supernova, right? But if we're not burning enough of our fuel, we're going to get crushed by the weight of everything around us. We're going to be crushed by the weight of our own gravity. We're going to turn into a little dwarf star, or the worst thing, we can become a black hole, right? And we don't want to become a black hole. And we don't want to go supernova either. So what we need is equilibrium. The internal pressure has to be equal to the external pressure coming in, just like any good star, you know, is burning its fuel at a rate that is keeping up with its own expansion and its own gravity, and etc. So I feel like that's why we need the balance between the fire and the water, because we are going to be, you are going to be sort of burning your fuel, right? But we also have to reward ourselves. We have to be willing to receive the fruits of our labor, and we have to take care of ourselves and nourish ourselves. We have to have desires, and we have to fulfill those desires and satisfy those wishes, so that we can continue to sort of burn our fuel. You know, it's a simple kind of reward system in a way. But it prevents us from either blowing up, supernova, or it also prevents us, those occasional people that do become black holes, and then they just start taking from everybody, you know, and nothing is enough. You know, you think of a black hole, it's just like so much is going in, but it's not going anywhere. You know, what is it really doing for us? And so we don't want to become that either. Yeah. Anyway, the Queen of Wands here. You're protecting your energy. And I think that you have a particular radiance about you. That you're the flame in the room, you know. You're not hiding your light. And I think that you're being either like very social or very public or like a leadership kind of person. Very expressive. It feels like there is a lot of vibrant energy coming from you. And in order to sustain that, I think you need the self-care, you need the downtime, you need the solitude, you need the rest and relaxation. Maybe you have a very public life or a very active life. We need the flip side of that, okay? And the Four of Swords, I think, is exactly that. This is a card of boundaries. This is a magical circle of protection. This is you understanding that we do need some kind of balance. We need rest. Okay, you need a mental reset. Sometimes your life, you just need a little bit of a timeout. Maybe it's, you know, we need no more of the throughput, input, output. It's like I want to shut down. I need some self-care. It's like we need to take a day where we just like sit in the bath and we relax and we, you know, I don't know, you do your hair and you lay in bed, you relax, you take care of yourself, you know. Because I think that in a way, you've been burning the candle at both ends. So we take a break from things, from either all of the outgoing, because, you know, with the two queens here, we have a very outgoing, extroverted energy and a very introverted energy with the Queen of Cups, yeah. And there's also more nuance with those cards, which we'll talk about in a moment. But this is you protecting yourself. It's the magical circle of protection, getting sleep, scheduling some downtime for yourself, okay? And I think this is that major red alert, saying you need some downtime. Yeah. Protect your sleep and your downtime as if they were sacred appointments. Step away from arguments, overstimulation. Step away from situations that are requiring you to be always on, activated, and lit up. Let your nervous system have a quiet day or just a quiet few minutes here and there, little pockets of time. Okay? Put some of the problems on the shelf for now. Put some of these demands. Sometimes the sun just needs to hide for the day, you know? Needs that time to just kind of rest and recharge your batteries. Try doing nothing for a few minutes and notice how anxious your mind might start getting. But stay there. Okay? And the mind will eventually calm down and you'll start to say, okay, I can relax. This feels good. Rest is a strategy. Rest is not a luxury. Okay? There's a lot of cliches out there about like how rest is like no rest for the wicked, or I'll rest when I'm dead, or something like this, you know. No, you need to rest. Rest is the only part that actually matters, right? You're going to the gym. without the rest day, all that time in the gym is not doing anything for you. If you are going to the gym 24/7 and never resting, you're not getting stronger, you're getting weaker. You're wearing yourself out, you're burning yourself out, you're destroying yourself. That's kind of the supernova part, you know. But then we have the other side, the black hole, which never goes to the gym and is just always in rest mode. Well, that's not good either, is it? So it's about that kind of balance, and that's why we have the stability of the 4. Rest is part of the strategy. It's not a luxury, it's not a weakness. It needs to be built into your system just as much as like, I gotta get up, I gotta go to work, you know, I gotta do my job, I've gotta earn money, I've gotta pay the bills, I've gotta sleep, I've gotta eat, I've gotta take care of myself, I've gotta, you know, be kind to me. All of those things are equally necessary. Okay. Sometimes the most intelligent act is to withdraw from that battlefield of life. Okay. The smartest person in the gym is the person leaving the gym, you know. Maybe not all the time, but you know, to take advantage of, because it's only during the rest periods that things actually get stronger and those bonds form and things, you know. And maybe this is about your muscles, maybe this is about your soul or your aura, maybe this is about your relationships. Maybe that you're so active, you're so on the go, that without the downtime, without the intentional rest, those bonds aren't able to really form. You know? Sometimes we have to sometimes we have to give things a little bit of space so that they can crystallize and solidify. Okay? I think right now recovery tends to be a priority. Anyway, you've got your general energy down here under the surface with the Prince of Wands. This is a very consistent energy. This is somebody that is driven. You're somebody with you're prone to action and adventure, again, with that charisma, you know, and you're taking decisive actions and you're being visible, you're being enthusiastic. You're not toning it down, you know. This is a burst of energy that is not going away. Yeah. And I think that this is that cruise control, but it's saying like, okay, look, you know, eventually you're going to have to rest. You know, eventually we're going to have to turn off the light. You know, sometimes you got to let, I don't know, you leave, like I have these lights on in here. I don't leave them on 24/7. You got to turn them off sometimes, let them cool down. You know, it doesn't need to be always on, and neither do we. Okay. But you might be feeling kind of an impatience, or this feeling like, I can't, you know, no sleep till Brooklyn kind of thing. I can't rest. Rest is missed opportunity. Rest is progress that I didn't make. Okay. And I think there is something to that. There's a sense of urgency. There is this vitality. There is the strength here. There is courage. You're very bold, very intentional. I think you need to be intentional about, okay, this is where I need to pull over, let the car cool down, fill it up with gas, get a snack, you know, rest, stretch my legs, then I get back in the car and keep going. So this is a major red alert against burnout for you, especially with this 10, because I feel like there has been too much giving and not enough taking, okay? This is overload. This is a burnout warning. You're carrying too much, whether it's emotionally, practically, or physically, or all of the above. You're carrying more responsibility than people really know. And people think you're an infinite source of light, life, and love, and they just keep taking you for granted. Oh, the sun's never going to burn out. I can soak up all the rays I need because the sun's not going anywhere. Well, we may not think about it often, but the sun is finite. The sun is mortal, and so are we. And so we cannot continue to burn the candle at both ends without suffering some sort of consequences. I think lately you've been feeling that weight. You're very much in that Queen of Wands energy where it's like you're the flame that lights up the room. But you don't need to always be on. You have to be able to turn it off sometimes. Okay? So much is on your plate right now that I think it's becoming too much. Like this is somebody that just doesn't know when to stop working. Or somebody that doesn't, it just feels like they always are, I don't know, it's like it's just always on kind of energy. And we don't do that to our phones or our TVs or our light bulbs. Why would we do that to ourselves? You leave your phone on all the time, the screen's going to burn in. You leave your light bulbs on all the time, they're going to burn out faster. And so will we. So we have to sometimes be able to just take it all off and just relax and just let it all go. It's not weakness, it's strategy. You need to rest before your body forces you to stop. Maybe you need to simplify goals, prioritize, let go of any need to perform strength. You know what I mean? Focus on some sustainable energy. Because the way things are going now, it's not sustainable. You can't stay living life at the red line. You can't stay with your foot mashed on the accelerator. You can't drive that way forever. It's good in short bursts, but this is saying like you've been living at high RPMs for a while now. And that's not a sustainable way to go. It may be something, it's working, it's working for now, sure. It's not going to work for a long time. And I think you want something that's going to be kind of long term, yeah. So we might need to simplify some goals here. You might need to think like, what can you put down? Okay, so that you can carry what truly is meaningful. And sometimes when you try to carry everything, you lose sight of what you are actually called on to do. Because the 10 is so far removed from the ace, from the source. And sometimes we're out here with this heavy burden on our shoulders, and we're just like, why am I carrying all this again? It's like we got a backpack full of bricks. We're just saying, I don't remember why I'm carrying all these bricks. So we're going to go through the backpack, and we're going to toss the bricks out, and at the bottom we're going to find that diamond, and we're thinking, oh yeah, this is what I was supposed to be carrying. I don't know how I got all these bricks in here. You lighten the load. Okay. So I feel like you're kind of starting to feel the fatigue energetically, maybe physically too. Okay. Now the Queen of Cups up here is someone who is learning like boundaries, emotional boundaries, but I think just energy boundaries. I think your intuition is telling you that it's time for you to have those kinds of limitations or boundaries. Like you can still be there for everybody else, but you don't have to abandon yourself. Okay, you don't have to kind of be crushed by the weight of it. You don't have to let yourself be drained, completely empty. You can hold space for other people's needs, other people's feelings, without abandoning your own. Right now, your nervous system needs a calm, beautiful, peaceful environment, a soothing experience. Okay? I think maybe this is you as an empath. Maybe you're a healer, either by nature or by training and profession. Maybe medical, maybe you're in the medical field, maybe you're an energy healer, Reiki, whatever, energy healing. I feel like you need to protect your energy. Allow yourself to receive comfort and care and light and life and love coming in. rather than always just giving it out. Yeah. You don't have to soak up everybody else's troubles, pain. You've got to practice those emotional boundaries. You're very compassionate, and you really are like, you're the flame in the room, right? But that flame needs some care. Anyway, what that's leading you to is receiving that love and care with that Ace of Cups. And so this is really perfect for you. This is the perfect spread. Because now this is your heart opening to receive. You're allowing yourself to receive love. Because I deserve it, Because it's not weakness. It's like I don't want anybody to see me, like be tired or like sit down, like rub my feet, I can't let anybody see me, be vulnerable or be like less than superhuman, You deserve love and care. You deserve emotional renewal. This is a spiritual flow, okay? This is you stepping into a new feeling, a new phase. Okay, things are softening a little bit. And you're saying yes to those connections or activities or practices that are going to restore you. Yeah, whether you need to cry, you need to laugh, you need to experience intimacy or tenderness without judging yourself, without feeling guilty for needing that or wanting that. Allowing yourself to have desires. Because I think that you're always doing for everybody else. Maybe you're always helping other people fulfill their desires. What about yours? Okay. Start or restart something. Go after something. Or maybe rephrase that. Don't go after it. Allow yourself to receive something that is going to fill your cup. Be kind to yourself on purpose. Be generous with yourself intentionally. Allow yourself to receive compliments or care or help from other people. Treat your heart, treat your body like a sacred vessel. Okay. Give yourself permission to feel. Even this is just the feeling, like allowing yourself to say, I'm tired. Giving yourself permission to say, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I want something. I have desires that are not being met right now, and they need to be met. New love, new joy or inspiration is pouring into your life right now, and you got to open the door and let that in. Okay. This is good. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. It's really a great way to support the channel, and I appreciate that. Your general energy is the Three of Wands here. This is your integrity. This is your confidence. This is virtue, And I feel like you're a very strong, virtuous, noble person. You have a lot of integrity. And I think that sometimes with that card comes this belief that we have to always be on. We have the sun in Aries here. Feels like you've always got to be that energetic leader, that charismatic kind of, I don't know, maybe you consider yourself an alpha type personality. Or a type A, I guess, whatever it's called. I don't know if people still use those designations anymore. But it kind of, it kind of makes you feel like you're not allowed to be tired. That you're not allowed to show any kind of signs of slowing down. This is that structural integrity. I've always got to be solid. I've always got to be, it doesn't matter what's going on, I've got to be a tank, But I think that really what integrity is you acting in a way that your future self will admire. Integrity is you saying no when something feels off. doing the right thing even when it's challenging. Okay? Staying true to yourself. And I think that giving yourself permission to rest, giving yourself permission to have desires and to need something and want something, giving yourself that permission is a huge, huge step. Trusting your instincts about your true energy level right now. Because eventually this is your structural or integrity that's going to start to break apart. That structural integrity that's being crushed by the weight of our responsibilities. And we're either going to go supernova or little dwarf star, right, or black hole. Either way, the structural integrity is lost. So give yourself recognition, give yourself credit for how far you've come and what you've accomplished and how strong you have been, and now go recharge. Your character is built up when your behaviors line up with your professed values. And so sometimes this is us telling other people, well, you should rest, you should take care of yourself, you should have desires, go get yourself something nice, go receive love and whatever. But then we're not doing it ourselves, Sometimes we've got to walk our own talk. And I'm guilty of that too, because I'm always telling you guys to go rest, go take it easy, go treat yourself, and then here I am, even when I'm sick, and even times recently, I've got laryngitis, I'm still here doing the readings anyway. Even though the body protests, we're going to continue to push ourselves. We have to make good decisions that will protect our integrity. You got to move like someone who respects themselves, And I think the people in your life are going to adjust. If you were to, make those kinds of boundaries or limits, or you're going to make those changes in your life right now, or you're going to try to have a more balanced life where you have maybe more time to yourself, or more time for rest, or more time with family, or whatever it is, more time for your own needs and desires. Everybody else in the world that's relying on you, they'll figure it out, So the next card in the environment is the Sun. This is joy and truth and vitality and success. This is warmth. And I feel like this is you in the way you relate to everybody else. You are a source of joy for everybody else. Maybe you feel like you've got to always be like, your personality's always got to be on, where you're the one that's kind of leading the conversation, or you're making other people laugh, or I almost feel like you're always like the host or the hostess, always feeling like you're responsible for other people's well-being, or making sure everybody else is having a good time. Yeah, it's like you're throwing a party. You've paid for everything. You've cooked everything. It's your house. You've gotten everything ready. You've cleaned and all that stuff. And now you're going around the party and you're making sure everybody else has something to drink. They've got something to eat. Are you comfortable? Do you need anything? And you're exhausting yourself and you're not able to enjoy the party because you're going around worrying about everybody else's, experience. Making sure everybody else is having a good time. And this is you always being visible to other people. Always being available to other people, accessible. If somebody needs something, you're right there to try your best to provide that for them. And that's a wonderful quality. It really is outstanding. Sometimes you gotta pull that little chain and turn the light off, I think that this is you needing to go dark once in a while. Spend some time just with yourself. Spend some time, take some downtime. And I think there are people in your life that they're going to come around, they're going to ask you how you're doing. And they're going to ask you if you need anything. Okay. I feel like you're very often shining your light, you know, and you don't dim your shine. You shine openly, and it's very authentic, and it's very you know, very outgoing. I feel like we need to shift some things. Now the Eon card of the Judgment card here. This is an awakening. This is really a major red alert for you, Leo, because it's basically Spirit's way of saying if things don't change, something's going to be decided for you. Okay, there is a big decision calling for you, and I think it's really the decision for you to rest, either to take a day to yourself, a little self-care day, a little spa day, or find these little pockets of time where you can just focus on your needs, because your soul, your spirit, your heart, your body is desperately asking for something, and I think that you're trying to just push through it. And maybe this is physical. Okay? There can be no shame about you saying, look, I got to make that decision. It's kind of like Spirit saying, you either make the decision or it's going to be made for you. We either take care of our body now or the body's going to force us to rest. Okay? So you got to take that action that is showing you, showing yourself, showing your body that you're listening to it. And it's not about being perfect. This is about you being very honest about, okay, something has to change. Okay. This is not, you know, it's not going from fire to water. It's not like you're not making that major shift into like, you know, kind of like not doing anything. But you're trying to find that balance so that your efforts can be sustained. And this is the spiritual alarm clock. So in some area of your life, you've been pushing yourself too much, too hard, too fast, too far. We need to ease down, Ripley. We need to incorporate more self-care. Otherwise, you know, I think that there is kind of a threshold that you'll cross where, you know, it's kind of like you're driving the car, and if you're driving the car too rough, if you're demanding too much out of that vehicle, eventually something's going to break. Okay? So let's sit down before we fall down. Yeah. Now, our final card on the path of the serpent is the Princess of Cups. This is literally you giving yourself permission to feel, to want, to need, to desire things. You're no longer the Queen of Wands out there in charge of the entire affair, the entire room, or like running the whole show. You're now somebody that's just there as one of the diners, as the party goer. You're not the hostess of the party, you're the party goer. So you're the one that's saying, okay, now I've got needs. Now I want the hors d'oeuvres. I want, I want the comfort, the luxury. I want to be taken care of. I want to be pampered. You know, I want to be shown to my seat and have somebody pull the chair out, and you know, because I think that you've been doing that for so long for everybody else. It feels weird to let somebody cook food for you, or you know what I mean? But this is you giving yourself permission to do that, to say, I have desires, I want things, and those things are going to be brought to me, you know. And it feels weird. It sounds weird to even say that. But I think that you've got to start listening to your body, listening to your heart, listening to your soul, because it's asking for something, it's craving something, it's in need of something. And I think if we ignore this, it's going to turn into a bigger problem. Okay. So this is like we're allowing ourselves to feel our feelings. Instead of just feeling like we have to be always on, pushing through, just being strong. No, it's like I have emotions. I have needs, desires, hopes, dreams, wishes, and aspirations, and I'm going to feel them. Okay. Let's look at our mystery card. Probably some pentacles. We don't have any earth cards here because it doesn't matter really what you're doing in life. What matters is how and why you're doing it. I do want to feel that, I do want to see some kind of earth energy here. So I feel like this has some sort of physical component to it. So let's take a look. The 5 of Wands. Let's fight. I think, first of all, this is you sort of protesting. I feel like something, either people around you or just your own, either spirit or something is like trying to bring you over to the couch and tell you, sit down, take your shoes off, relax, here's a drink, don't move. And you're saying, no, I got to get up, I've got stuff to do. I got to do the laundry. I've got to go check on this or check on that. I've got to get back into the kitchen, So I kind of feel like you got to force yourself to rest. More fire, right? Because I think it's not easy for you to sit down and relax and do nothing and let somebody bring you a cup of tea and a snack. Okay? Because your impulse, your instinct is to get up and do the thing because you're very capable. You've always done things yourself and worked hard, and no one's ever brought you anything, right? You've had to work hard for everything. And so it's not easy for you to turn off this fight energy. And this is someone who is so exhausted that they can barely stand up, but yet they keep fighting it. They won't go to sleep. They won't lay down. They're just going to get up. No, I've got stuff to do. You've got to just surrender. Okay? You've got to just surrender to that. Let yourself rest and sleep and eat and be taken care of. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. There is a link in the corner. There is a link down below. Leo, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.